Breaking news, at least 7 people hurt in a foundry explosion in Ozaukee County.
The explosion happened this afternoon at Johnson Brass in Saukville. That's just north and a little east of downtown Saukville.
Our Charles Benson is live at the scene in Saukville.
What's the latest, Charles?
Well, the fire chief just wrapping up a news conference, and he's been kind enough to join us now. We're talking to Chief GILLY SCHULTZ, and you're saying 7 injured. What are the extent of the injuries that you know at this point?
We don't know the extent of them, but 7 people have gone to hospitals. Again, 3 to the burn center in Milwaukee and 4 to local hospitals around Ozaukee County.
Describe what was an explosion inside the plant.
They were pouring brass into a tumbler, and something happened that we don't know exactly what happened yet, and we have investigators coming in, and it exploded, caught part of the factory on fire, blew a wall out, and the fire was extinguished very fast, and we got the patients out and on their way to the hospitals.
This explosion knocked these guys to the ground?
Yes, the explosion knocked them to the ground.
And so is the burns, the injuries, are sort of the metal that went flying, the hot metal?
I would think part of it would be the hot metal coming out, or the heat. Heat can do a lot of damage to the skin and stuff like that.
Give me a sense. This foundry has been in this town for a long time. What's your record with them?
A very good record. They're a very conscientious company. I've had no problems with Johnson Brass whatsoever.
Chief, we appreciate your time joining us here live. Chief, update us on the very latest information. That is the plant right over there right now. You can see a fire truck leaving from the front entrance. All of this happening around 4 o'clock this afternoon when there was an explosion inside. We did talk to one of the workers who was inside the foundry at the time that this happened. He describes a chaotic scene. As you can imagine, this explosion taking place, and then the workers going to try to rescue their co-workers. Many grabbed fire extinguishers to put out the fire. They were able to get everybody out of the building, and then they set up sort of a triage center at a park just across the street. That's where Flight for Life came in. 2 people were taken out by Flight for Life, 1 by ambulance. 4 others were taken by ambulance as well. We were able to see what you would describe as the walking wounded, some right here in front of the plant that had burns on the back of their legs. Others, loved ones, wives and others ran to the scene here because they couldn't get in touch with people working inside the plant. But at this point, we now know that 7 have been injured. They're now beginning an investigation as to what exactly caused this explosion. Mike and Carol?
Yeah, and for the most part, this plant has relatively minor violations in the past. It's been pretty safe over the many years, Charles.
And that's what the fire chief is telling us. We know that this is the 4th generation of families running this company, Johnson Brass. We are trying to find out if the family is here and then if we can talk to the family. But we know that it employs about 100 people. Unclear as to exactly how many people were in this particular part of the building where the explosion took place. We do know it happened towards the end of the day, so people were sort of wrapping up their day's work. But they use a lot of hot metal here. They were pouring brass, and it's very, very hot when something happened in this tumbler to send the metal flying in the air, and that's what caused this explosion. We're reporting live in Saukville. Charles Benson, today's TMJ4.
Charles, thank you very much.
Here's a little background on the company Johnson Brass. Got it started in Milwaukee back in 1905. In 1960, it moved up to Saukville. It makes high-quality castings, and the Johnson family still runs the business. We'll post new developments at TMJ4.com all evening, and of course, we'll have updates tonight on Live at 10.